Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our PennTESOL East seminar today. I wanted to start with a few announcements for everyone to know we have another upcoming webinar on August 18th at 6 p.m. So mark your calendars. It will be very exciting. It is with Kate Tomaskovic, who is the current International Program Director at the Foxcroft School and former instructor of TESOL practice at Penn GSE. It's going to focus on practical approaches for lesson planning, and the content in this will be engaging and relevant for beginning and expert teachers alike. And I know Kate as a former colleague, and I'm very excited for this webinar. I think it's great. Something else that's coming up, yeah, I see some hearts, that is very exciting is we have set the date for our fall conference. It's going to be November 14th at Temple University, and we hope that you join us there. So mark your calendar for that as well. The topic is Teaching with Purpose, Building Community and Connection. So we'll have more information about that and a call for proposals and speakers coming out soon. So stay in tune. And then very exciting, we're going to have an in-person event the night before on Friday the 13th. Ooh. So we hope that you can join us then. More information to come about that as well. And now I'd like to introduce you to our fabulous moderator for today. Helen Fitzgerald is a board member as well of PennTESOL. And sorry, just 1 second. She has an exciting presentation for us today. Helen is the adult education in-house professional development specialist at and the digital literacy specialist and ESL instructor. Look at that, at Keystone Opportunity Center in Souderton, PA. And Helen has more than 35 years of experience in teaching TESOL, so we are very lucky to have her today. Previously, she has worked at Temple University's Intensive English Language Program and at the University of Philadelphia in Jordan, and at various other educational institutions at various language levels with diverse adult learners. She holds an M.D. in TESOL from the University of Leeds, UK, and a BA in English Language and Literature and French. She worked with the British Council as Education Counselor and Information Officer. Helen is very passionate about professional development in TESOL. As you can see, we're very lucky to benefit from that today. And she's also very passionate about supporting instructors and staff with assessing and developing their students' language and digital literacy skills. So Helen will be presenting for us today on effective strategies to enhance student engagement in online learning that focuses on techniques like interactive activities, tasks, timely feedback, and diverse instructional routines that cater to different learning styles and promote community. I know that she's going to say more about her abstract as well, and so I'd like to give it away to Helen. Thank you so much for this presentation. Oh, and one more note, we want to get through as much as we can, so there will certainly be time for questions. We encourage, engagement, asking questions either in person or, unmute yourself or in the chat. But we will save time for questions at the end. So if something comes up, like as Helen is presenting, feel free to type that into the chat and then we'll go through them at the end. And I think that's everything. Thanks, Helen. Take it away.
Great. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. It's so exciting to see you all. And so I'm going to start with introducing the title of the presentation. It's Strategies to Increase Student Participation in the Remote ESL Classroom. I've been teaching remote for 5-6 years now. Before that, I taught in person, so I was able to use the strategies that I used in the in-person class and move them into the remote setting. So thank you. I know a number of you have already introduced yourself in the chat. So if you haven't done so, please introduce yourself in the chat, like where do you work, your job title, how many years have you been in TESOL, and do you teach online or in person, and anything else you would like to share about yourself, because it will be great to connect with you later on. As Melanie talked about the abstract, I'm going to explore effective strategies that enhance student engagement in online learning, and I will focus on techniques like interactive activities, tasks that are collaborative, and why it's important to give timely feedback to the students, what are the diverse instructional routines that and keeping in mind the diverse or different learning styles of students so that we can cater to their learning needs, and also why this is all important to build a vibrant virtual classroom community. And of course, as we go on working on these things in the classroom, there are challenges that we may face. So how do we maintain student focus and participation in remote settings? So the main objectives of this presentation is, by the end of this presentation, you will be able to look at these challenges, address those challenges of maintaining student focus and participation in remote settings. We will explore, you will be able to work with us and explore effective strategies that enhance student engagement in online learning environments. Also, you will learn more about instructional techniques or explore the ones that you already use. How it is important to build a strong virtual community and how we cater to different learning styles. So these are the main things I'll be addressing throughout the presentation. Melanie will be putting online resources in the chat. So when the resource is there at any time, you can click on the resource or you can copy it. But towards the end of the presentation, I will provide you with a link with all of these resources that I will be talking about throughout the presentation so that you have them for later. Now, with the some ELPS guiding principles for adult education. So I'm going to talk a bit about these guiding principles. There are 10, but I chose 5 of them here. And the reason I'm talking about these principles is so that we see how they connect with adult students and also in the classroom. So principle number 3 says adult English language learners' funds of knowledge are a resource for their learning. So you know that when students come into the classroom, they already have knowledge, because as adult students, so we can use this knowledge as a resource, like the other resources that we use in the classroom. So how do I use this resource to promote students' learning? In principle number 4, social language has an important role in English language learners' English language acquisition process. So social language is important because, like, I could use this social language in conversational English, especially if you're teaching a conversation class or if your class is focusing on listening and speaking skills. So I can use social language to focus on those conversational skills. Principle number 6 says adult English language learners must be able to successfully engage with a wide variety of informational texts. So for me as an instructor to choose an informational text, how do I choose those texts where I can build on students' background and students' knowledge, and also texts that are that students will be interested to read and interested to learn about, and also to learn those reading comprehension skills. In principle number 7, it talks about scaffolding. It's an essential tool to facilitate English language learners' acquisition of language and content. So how do I use scaffolding to facilitate student learning? Scaffolding, it would be like filling in the gaps of student learning and designing activities where fill those gaps. Number 9 says multimedia technology is aligned to the ELP standards, English language standards, should be integrated into instruction. So the importance of integrating digital literacy skills, digital literacy routines. So how do I do that in the classroom, and why that is important? So I'm relying on these principles would guide our conversation and our lesson planning. Next, the benefits. So what are the benefits of using targeted strategies in ESL online classes? So in the chat, you can, if you would like, you can talk about the benefits that we can, of using these strategies in ESL online classes. So I'll give you a moment to write these strategies in the chat and to think about them, for a bit. Okay. Okay, next, so some of the benefits that I could list, benefits of using targeted strategies in the ESL online classes. Some of these benefits would be increased student engagement. So you'll find students engaging more in online in class. It helps improve their language skills and helps them make progress in their language skills. Also, it helps them develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills, and which is really important, not only memorizing and remembering, but also higher order thinking skills. Also, it prepares them for real world communication, whether in life, or at work. And then it provides them with personalized learning. So we can see that there are really some good benefits to use those strategies in the classroom. So what are the techniques for effective classroom activities? What techniques can we use? One important technique, since we are online teaching, so promoting digital literacy skills and digital literacy routines in instruction and learning. So I'll talk more about how we can do that in class. Also, encouraging positive breakout room dynamics. So, for example, before we send the students to breakout rooms to discuss something that we want them to work with, so we could explain what is the activity that we would like them to work with, and give them clear directions and explain before sending them out to breakout room. Like I could share my screen, explain what the activity is, show them what it is, what are the directions, what steps they need to take, and then make sure if they have any questions, answer their questions, and then, go to breakout rooms, and then I could visit them and make sure that, they are on task. And if they have any questions, I can help them out. So this is important, positive dynamics in the breakout rooms. Also, moving from a teacher-centered approach, where the teacher is always being like the main source of knowledge and the main source of information, moving that, shifting to a student-centered approach. This way you would enabling the students to work together, collaborate, and help each other more in a student-centered way. And also the teacher in this case would be the facilitator of their learning rather than the main source of knowledge. Also, encouraging higher order thinking and critical thinking skills. This is very important because they do need those skills in life and work. So helping them not only remember, but also be able to apply, evaluate what they are learning, giving them those skills in the classroom. Moreover, integrating soft skills or people skills. Now we talk a lot about AI, and one thing that will not replace humans in AI, as I think, is those soft skills. AI now does not really have a lot of soft skills like teamwork or collaboration or human communication. So if we integrate those soft skills, such as teamwork, adaptability, being able to adapt to various learning situations or environments, communication, clear communication, how to manage their time, how to manage their learning, conflict resolution, integrating all of these into the classroom would be, very effective to help them advance in their learning. Now, I'm going to refer to Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom is an influential American educational psychologist, and he developed what we see here, this pyramid or triangle, and it's a foundational framework that is used by teachers when they need to write their learning plans, so that teachers keep in mind that not only, there are different levels of introducing a lesson. So at the lower level of the pyramid, we have the remembering, recalling facts and basic concepts. So this is good, like, referring to, let's say if we're doing reading comprehension, then you're asking them a question and the answer is in the reading, so they can go there and find the answer and just remember what it said. Also, a notch up would be understanding, where students understand what they are reading or learning, and they can explain those ideas and concepts. They can classify, describe, discuss, explain, and so on. Moving up further would be application of the knowledge that they learned. So how do they use this information in new situations? How do they solve a problem or demonstrate or interpret what they learned? So these verbs, notice they are all action verbs, and they can all be used in writing objectives for lesson plans. Moving up would be analyze, how students can analyze what they are learning, how they can draw connections among the various ideas that they are learning, how do they organize that information, compare, contrast, distinguish. And then a level up would be to evaluate. How can a student evaluate what they are learning and take it, express their point of view, like in a persuasive way, or expressing, what they think of what they have already learned. And the higher level would be create. So after they have, remembered, understood, applied, analyzed, evaluated, they can create their own content, for example, and then they can share their creation. One example would be like create something on YouTube or social media, and then present and post it, So this is their work, and then they have applied higher order thinking and critical thinking skills. So that's something good to keep in mind as we are writing our lesson plan objectives. Other techniques for effective classroom activities. So teaching the things you have a passion for. This is really important, in my opinion, because if I'm excited about something that I am teaching or a topic that I am teaching, and then I will be presenting it in an interesting way for the students. And I will be like, as an instructor, I will be excited about it. I want them to learn it. I find different ways to facilitate their learning because, this is a topic of interest for me, and I think it will be a topic of interest to them. So it will make the class more, more interesting, more collaborative. Also, when I'm trying to choose ESL content for my students, I choose content that is valuable. I feel that, or I think it's something valuable for them to learn, and that they can build on their background knowledge. Like, for example, if I notice they're struggling with a grammar point, or they're struggling with some pronunciation, or some vocabulary, or some other language skills, then I would choose some content that I think will help them fill the gaps for their learning and will help them advance in their learning. Also, differentiating learning, because students like let's say I'm teaching the ESL Advanced online, and although it's advanced, but I see that there are students who are at the low advanced level, mid-advanced level, high advanced level, but they're all in the advanced level. So I can choose activities where I can target every level in the classroom, although it's all advanced. So differentiating this way, I can involve all the students or include all the students in the learning and in sharing, doing the activity, the exercises, and working together. Also, the way presenting ideas, presenting activities, so allowing them to discover ideas for themselves. So this is part of critical thinking, higher order thinking. So instead of just remembering what they read, but also discovering that, oh, they have a similar idea. They are sharing an idea with other students, like this idea. They find it interesting. So allowing them to discover ideas for themselves, and also uh, you can also design and plan your lessons so that participants leave impressed with themselves and what they learned. Uh, Meaning, like, by the end of the class or during the class, students will feel that, oh, I did really well in class. I worked with the other students. I was able to help find the answer. And so on. So this way, they are happy that they are active in their learning, and that they are really, um, willing to come back, and they're motivated and willing to come back and learn some more. More techniques for effective classroom activities allow adult learners to use their expertise by leaving time to share experiences. So this is very important for adult learners. They always like to share their experiences in life, their experiences at work, their experiences living in their own country, their experiences living in this country, and all traveling and hobbies and everything. So allowing time for them to use their expertise and share their experience, helps them be more engaged. And also making learning fun in the classroom, because when I make learning fun for my students, I am also enjoying facilitating their learning. So this way, when I see them engaged and they're enjoying their time, and they are, benefiting from their time in class, and it is fun, so they will want to come back and participate further in the future classes. Also, this is very important. The next one, changing the pace. So we know, like with retention or just focus, usually it lasts about 20 minutes at a time. Some people say it lasts 45 minutes, but changing the pace, I find it very useful for the students, because it keeps them engaged. Let's say instead of doing grammar all the time during class, or vocabulary or certain other skills, no, I would change, like a grammar exercise, and then maybe a tutorial about something else, like a YouTube video. Also, like maybe a game that we can work on together. So changing the pace, variety in the classroom keeps them engaged. They look at the screen, they unmute themselves because they want to participate. They turn on their camera. They are motivated, interested to participate further. Also thinking about student learning styles. Students learn in different ways, so changing the pace also is good for the different learning styles. People learn differently. So two things that address learning styles. It's one of them is Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, and the other one, the Universal Design for Learning framework. So first, I'm going to talk about Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. I'm sure you're familiar with it. So he put his theory forward in 1983, where he said there are 8 different intelligences, and each one of us may have one dominant intelligence, but we may have others as well. Then in 1999, he added to, I mean, reviewed and then to the theory, and then added one more intelligence, which is the existential one. So, but some people say this is not really intelligence. These are the talents that different people have. Okay, what are the talents? For example, spatial. For example, visualizing the world in 3D. One of my students said, like, whenever I hear a word, I visualize it in my head, like orange. Immediately in my head, I see an orange, or I visualize an orange, or an apple, or I hear the words, and then I visualize those words. Other people are interested in nature, so maybe bringing texts or about nature, reading comprehension, discussing nature, or maybe sharing a photo about nature and asking them to describe it. Then they are, they are interested in the topic. Musical, like if I know that one of my students plays the piano very well, or the violin, then maybe we can discuss something about music, and they will be like the expert there, and they will tell us all about what they know in that area. Logical or mathematical. For example, I noticed some of my students who are a bit struggling in language, they are really good at math. For example, one time we were looking at a train schedule, and there were questions about calculating the time, how much that would it take from this place to the other. She was able to give us the answer in like almost immediately, and the other students were still trying to figure it out. And so in this case, we can introduce some math, some basic math, and teach them, work with the students in terms of math vocabulary, like multiplication, addition, and so on. This would cater for the students who are really good at math. And also other students will be interested to learn about that. Here, the existential, there are people who always think about life and why are we alive and things like that. Interpersonal, the students who learn better by interacting with other people. The bodily, meaning they learn better if they are moving. And then the linguistic, they learn better because they love languages. And intrapersonal, they learn better when they have time to contemplate on what they are learning. So the main idea is keeping this in mind, the different talents that students have. This way I can um, uh, plan my lessons by, keeping this in mind to cater for their learning needs. The universal design for learning is similar. It's a framework that guides the development of flexible learning environments, accommodating individual differences. So how do I keep them engaged? What kind of representation of learning do I introduce in class? And how can they learn? So the why of learning, meaning stimulates their interest and motivation. It gives them choices, tasks that are relevant. It gives them a sense of autonomy. Representation, like I could present the information in multiple formats, not only text, but also audio, listening, video, hands-on activities. And then the how would they learn that? How, like maybe including options like oral reports, like since it is a student-centered approach, having them do a video project or do some group work. I have a video here about universal design for learning, but I'm afraid I don't have enough time to show the video, but Melanie will put the link in the chat, and the link will be on the resources page at the end of the presentation. This way, if you're interested to learn more about that, the video will be helpful. Or maybe you already know, but you can check it out anyway. Okay, so in the chat, I wish we have time to discuss, but we'll have time towards the end. But you can write in the chat, what instructional strategies and techniques do you use in the online ESL class? And do you have a favorite one that you always resort to, one that you always go to? So feel free to put that in the chat. What instructional strategies and techniques do you use in ESL online class? So, Zoom, Google Meet, Teams, depends what you use. Okay. Next, I'm going to talk about some effective instructional strategies to increase their participation. Okay.
Oh, did I spell her? Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay, so some effective instructional strategies. Okay, here I listed 9, but I'm sure there's more. So setting clear expectations right at the beginning is really important. This way they know what to expect. Digital skills and routines, since we're online. Helping the students develop a growth mindset. Introducing interactive activities, games as well. Multimedia use, I guess it goes more with digital literacy, videos and so on. Collaborative projects, giving students timely feedback, using diverse assessment methods, and building a virtual community, a collaborative virtual community in the classroom. So when it comes to setting clear expectations, so before students start the semester, I always, in addition to sending the Zoom link, another email would be information about class. It's a welcome letter. And then this welcome letter, this informational letter will explain in detail what to expect in class. How is this, how the class is going to go, like what books we're using, what supplemental distance learning they need to sign up for, and so on. Everything that they need to know before they start class. So this way, once they are in the class, then I go over this informational letter and explain what's in it to make sure that they are all, they understand what the expectations are. Also, making sure once they join that, making sure that they know they're comfortable with muting, unmuting, camera on or off. They can write things in the chat, and they can use emojis and reactions and so on. So like basic, I'm on Zoom, so basic Zoom things that they can do in class. And then talking about joining class on time, staying for the entire class, try not to leave early. It's important that they join on time and stay for the entire class. Also, encouraging them to communicate regularly with me if they need to be late, if they need to leave early, if they need to be absent. Although we have our student support coordinators, and they are also required to communicate with the student support coordinator if they need to be late or leave early or be absent. But also I encourage them to let me know as well. But this way because I would like to build good rapport with the students, not only in the classroom, but also outside the classroom, so that they feel comfortable communicating with me outside of the classroom. Also, when they use email, this helps them improve their skills in writing. Also, I have clear and timely communication with learners in class through email and text. Before class, I send them an email like, this is what we're going to cover this week in class. After class, another email. This is what we covered in class. Make sure you review. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me about something you're not clear about. Also, responding to their emails promptly. This way they feel that they can, communicate with the teacher outside of class, creates good rapport and also trustworthiness. Encouraging, modeling to them, showing respect, understanding, and consideration for others. And, they will do that. Timely screen, like if I'm explaining something, then timely screen sharing, clarity in the presentation, giving them clear directions, all of that. So this way they know what to expect and it's clear to them. Promoting digital skills and routines. So what do we mean by skills and routines? Digital skills and routines refer to specific and repeatable activities using technology that are integrated into the curriculum. And it can be used to structure interactions between instructors and students or students and students. These skills and routines facilitate learning through digital tools and platforms. and they are designed to be predictable and efficient. This way, it reduces the need for constant explanation and allows students to focus on learning. So once they learn the skill, then if we use it again in class, it becomes a routine. Then I don't have to keep explaining how they can utilize that skill. So what are the benefits of digital routines? They improve student engagement in the classroom because let's say, they can write things in the chat. They can, let's say we're working on how to share your screen. So they can share their screen if they are giving a presentation or sharing, a photo about their travels. So this, knowing how to do that digitally, it improves their engagement. Also, it provides opportunities for differentiated instruction, and also promoting a more flexible and personalized learning environment, helps students develop digital literacy skills, critical thinking skills in the classroom, that they can transfer those skills for life and work. So can you think of other benefits of digital routines that you already use in class, or would you like to write in the chat any other benefits of digital routines and skills that can be used in class, or what are the benefits? Any other benefits you can add in the chat? Okay, what are some examples of digital routines? Let's say typing in the chat, putting emojis in the chat, responding to something in the chat, and so on. This is, I find when I do this, like as soon as they join class, we do some, we talk a little bit about like, how was your weekend and things like that. And then I put a question in the chat, an open-ended question in the chat, and I ask them to respond in the chat. So they will be typing in the chat. And then we discuss their responses. So they're all like interested to know what other students wrote in the chat, and then to discuss their own responses and maybe ask questions about what other students wrote. Another activity that I used a lot in class, which is accessing a shared Google Doc. So I would create a shared Google Doc. I would put the link in the chat, and then they can access this Google Doc. And that Google Doc, there are activities that they can work on, maybe a grammar exercise, a vocabulary exercise, a reading comprehension, something that they can work together as a group in breakout rooms. And so everyone can access the document, and they can type in it and write, and they can discuss it in breakout rooms. But before doing that, I need to explain how it works and how they can, share their ideas in the document. And then when they come back from breakout rooms, they can share what they wrote in that document. Everybody will have access to that. Also, sharing screen. So we practiced how to share screen if they need to give a presentation on something. So they really were interested to know how they share screen. And also, especially also in breakout rooms, let's say we have this Google Doc, and one of the students shares the screen so that everybody can see it, but they can still, type in that document, and they can work together. So I've seen them do that, and it was very rewarding seeing them doing it, and they were very happy that they are learning something new. Also, we have ELI as supplemental distance learning. We also have Nuzila. So these also, in addition to promoting language skills, they also promote digital literacy skills. So always we encourage them to work on ELI and Nuzila outside the classroom. Like I would explain in the classroom how they can work on these assignments, and how to join ELI, the student account, how to join Nuzila, and then they would do that. Do these assignments as supplemental outside of the classroom, and they still develop digital skills. Also, as I mentioned earlier, emailing them weekly, like what to prepare for next week or what we already covered in class, and encouraging them to email if they have any questions. How about you? Please put in the chat, or if you have any questions, what digital routines do you use in class? Okay, I talked about mindset, growth mindset, open mindset. So how do we support learners in developing a growth mindset? What is a growth mindset? It's the belief that your abilities and talents can improve through effort and practice. And we notice that people with a growth mindset, they embrace challenges because learning a language, there are some challenges there along the way, but they understand it's a challenge and they know how to address it. They can learn from setbacks and they are motivated to keep improving. So what are the benefits of promoting a growth mindset in the classroom? It helps them achieve better academically, so better academic achievement. It encourages them to have a passion for learning and exploring. It lowers their stress level and it enhances resilience and enhances their self-esteem. And you get a more innovative workforce because they can move, they can adapt, they can transfer those skills into their jobs, into their life, not only in the classroom. How can we develop a growth mindset? Embracing, helping them understand, there will be challenges along the way, but how do we embrace those challenges? How do we deal with them? Um, yeah, there will be criticism, but focus on the positive criticism and learn from it. It's okay. Just keeping an open mind that we can learn from any criticism, any positive criticism. And yeah, we make a mistake, but these are learning opportunities. It is okay to make a mistake, but we can learn from it or from those mistakes, and believing in the power of effort. The more effort you put into your learning, the better outcomes you will achieve. So helping them understand that and see how it works, focusing on the process first, not the final product. So to be really proficient in the language, there's a process, to steps to get there. It doesn't just happen. And it's okay to seek help from others. It's fine. We can always help each other. The other one, interactive activities that I mentioned earlier. So incorporating those activities like polls, like Zoom polls, to see, what they think about something, or maybe about what they learned in a poll, just a few questions. Or we have ELI as supplemental distance learning. ELI as a platform, they have a lot of polls on various subjects. And students enjoy answering those polls and discussing them. So it becomes really interactive in class. They respond to the various questions in the polls as I am sharing screen, and they find it really interesting to see what other students are thinking. There's also Poll Everywhere. That's like another site where you can create your own polls. They use that like in webinars, but also we can adapt that in the classroom. There's also Mentimeter, another poll. Mentimeter. You can sign up if you would like to. I mean, and explore, how it works, and you can present activities on Mentimeter. So whatever is easier for you in terms of polls. And I notice students really like to respond and express their views. Also, there are plenty of online ESL resources. Any skill you want, grammar, vocabulary, comprehension, reading, listening, conversation. A long, long, long list of these ESL exercises. I just chose two because here, like learningenglishfeelgood.com, they have grammar, vocabulary, lesson plans, and so on and so forth. So choosing exercises from these, and then uh, and then providing the link for the students after class where they can review what we worked on. So what I would do, I would choose an exercise, some skill that we're working on, share my screen, have the students work together, and then check, how many they got correct, and then and so on. Another website, English for Everyone, they have all of these various topics that you can choose from, various exercises, and so much more. I mean, I couldn't list everything. There's so much there online that we can utilize in the classroom. Of course, online ESL videos, tutorials. Some of these tutorials, I mean, I choose short tutorials, like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, not that long, because I want to keep them paying attention and learning from them. Some of these tutorials give tests or quizzes, so we do that together. And other interactive activities to make the lessons more fun and engaging. And also we can tailor those activities to their learning needs, their language level, and also provide feedback, prompt feedback in a very positive manner, and encourage their participation, interaction, team building, and collaboration. Um, uh, Also, yeah, missing something. Okay, multimedia use. I mean, multimedia, like more like digital. How do we use the, for example, as I mentioned, utilize YouTube, ESL short tutorials, Google Maps. They really love it when I go to Google Maps, because they want to see which country they come from, how about their classmates, where they come from, and we start talking about the country, the culture, the people, the food. So it creates a lot of good conversations. They're really interested to see where they are on the map. Also, Google Images. These are really I find them really very helpful, especially when we're explaining vocabulary. So instead of trying to, I mean, we go to Google Dictionary, Google Pronunciation, but also the image, because then they can see it and understand the vocabulary word better. Okay, AI tools like Gemini. Now I loved when could use the dictionary in Google, but now it's more Gemini. Sometimes we use the prompts on ChatGPT just to encourage them to use that. Of course, QR codes. We have a lot of QR codes in Ellie. In Ventures, we use Ventures, the QR codes for listening, for grammar videos. And also in Ellie, there's immersive readers. They like to listen to that. Okay, listening to comprehension passages, ESL dialogues, other digital resources, all of that just to make the lessons more visually appealing, engaging, and also to change the pace, to add variety to the lesson. Games. There's so many games online, but I'm going to mention 4 that I really used a lot in the classroom. One of them is Bamboozle. This like it is K to 12, but also some games work really well for adult education. So here you go to games, and then you have an extensive list of games that you can choose from, or you can search games here, and these can serve as a good warm-up as they start class. Or at the end, if you have 5 minutes before class ends, then you can introduce a game, and it ends the class really nicely when they can interact together and talk about the game. The other one is Kahoot. We in our ventures we have Kahoot already made, but you can also create a Kahoot, free Kahoot online account as a teacher and create your own Kahoot. And so they really like that. Like towards the end of the unit, there's a Kahoot, so we work with that. It's very competitive. They really love it and makes it really exciting. Padlet. I used Padlet several times. So I'm going to show you one of the Padlets that my students worked on. So I gave them a theme, spring. It was like during the spring semester at that time. And what they can do in Padlet, they can post something. It's like posting something on social media, but it's private, because the people who can access the Padlet are the ones who have the link. So what they can do, they can post something, they can write, they can add a photo, they can add a video, they can comment on what other people wrote in the Padlet, their classmates. So very interactive. And then you can make a slideshow of the Padlet that they created. And then I would like go, and they joined the Padlet with the QR code, as we saw that. And then I would go like this and have them express their ideas. Like this one is really cool. One of the students said, behind my house in his country, there is a mountain in Korea. This picture is a path for hiking people. He said, I always used to go on this path, and he would tell us about it. So, and so on, sorry, and so on. So, it creates a lot of opportunities for discussion and collaboration in the classroom and interest. Another Padlet here quickly. I gave them some vocabulary words and I asked them to use those words in sentences and also pictures, put some pictures there. Another one is Nearpod. There are a lot of things you can do with Nearpod. So the best way, if you want to learn more about these, or maybe you already use them, just, check out a YouTube tutorial and, see how you can use them. Or maybe you're already using those and many, many more. Okay, I talked about collaborating in the classroom, so presenting collaborative projects that are learner-centered to encourage group work and communication with each other, like task-based learning, TBL, giving them a task where they can work together in breakout rooms, and this will facilitate their language acquisition, engaging them in communicative activities. And also project-based learning, a task like, for example, giving them a project like create a pamphlet or create a presentation together. No, a project-based learning right here. And then problem-based learning, like if we're talking about pollution, let's say, and then they can work together on how they can, solve pollution, for example, or recycling, global warming and things like that. So these are projects that learners can work together, but you need to, explain clearly what it is and how they can work on that. Also, the importance of timely feedback, providing prompt and constructive feedback to keep them motivated and on track. And why? Because it enhances learning and retention, improves their performance, increases their motivation, reduces misconceptions, especially about some grammar points, to clarify those points to them, so to reduce maybe something that they learned and it wasn't accurate, but now they're learning it accurately and clearly and well. Okay, creating stronger learning bonds, boosting self-awareness and self-reflection, and guides targeted improvements in learning. So there are many benefits for that. Diverse assessment methods, formative and summative assessment. The formative assessment would be as you're going in the classroom. You can use various ways to do formative assessment. Could be polls, could be an exit ticket, could be writing something in the chat to like, what did you learn today, for example? Or in breakout rooms, go and discuss what did you learn today and come back and share. The summative would be like towards the end of the unit, if you want to see how much they learned, you can do that. Also, like when we do the post-testing with CASAS, that would be also a summative assessment to see, the student progress after attending a certain number of classes. All of that leads to building a good virtual community in the classroom, getting to know my students and the students getting to know each other, introducing icebreakers at the beginning of the semester, warm-up activities, them talking with each other, interviewing each other, collaborative tasks, finding what interests they have in common with the teacher and with each other. So this way, creating a safe learning space, safe learning environment, and create team building tasks and exercises and provide individualized support. Virtual community building, we need to foster, I like to foster a sense of community in the classroom. create a sense of belonging to the classroom, build rapport with the students, very important, use active learning strategies, and use breakout rooms. I could go in detail, but I'm looking at the time. So anyway, the main idea is it's important to build a virtual community in the classroom where they can feel safe to learn. In conclusion, implementing these strategies and more can help create a more dynamic and engaging remote ESL classroom and increase student participation. In the chat, which of these strategies resonate with you the most, and what other strategies have you used in the classroom?